An FPV drone operator from the 25th Army found and captured a Ukrainian soldier hiding by the roadside. Five infantrymen from the Ukrainian forces were moving quickly along a dirt road when a Russian FPV drone struck the top of their vehicle. However, the drone's warhead did not detonate. Ukrainian soldiers are having a lot of luck today. You can hear the drone hitting the vehicle.
Что? FPV. Куда попало? Сзади где-то.
Dimitrov's liberation continues under the leadership of the 51st Army. 12 Ukrainian soldiers left the building where they were hiding and took shelter in another building. The Ukrainian soldiers were called upon to surrender, but they refused.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
Russian air forces then destroyed the building with FAB bombs. A Russian FPV drone reached the Ukrainian forces' trenches. Here's that terrifying sound. The soldier was not injured. He continued on his way. A breathtaking chase took place between a Russian drone and a Ukrainian soldier. The Russian FPV drone flew toward its target without hitting anything, despite difficult obstacles. It finally caught up with the man. In another image, a Ukrainian drone tasked with protecting the Ukrainian soldier was destroyed in midair. A Russian FPV drone spotted a Ukrainian buggy vehicle and quickly flew towards it. One of the Ukrainian soldiers got out and by chance destroyed the FPV drone in midair. Intelligence reports that enemy infantry combat vehicles and soldiers are advancing toward Russian positions. At the command center, officers relay the coordinates to units in the target area. As soon as the armored vehicle rounded the bend, the anti-tank guided missile crew of the 31st Motorized Rifle Division opened fire. A single missile was enough to destroy it. Footage of a drone swarm attack on a tank model. Drones are developing rapidly, while defensive measures are lagging behind significantly. Machine gun mounts with AI and active defense systems, which have not yet been implemented in practice, do not solve the problem in their current form. At the same time, the need for a new layout and a review of approaches to differentiated tank armor was apparent even before the advent of drones. An American howitzer was discovered near the village of Zakotna. After a series of attacks, the howitzer was destroyed. It was scrapped. There is no longer any Ukrainian army in Vovchansk. According to intelligence reports, drone operators are searching for enemies on the outskirts of Vovchansk, where Ukrainian soldiers were once stationed, but they cannot find a single soldier. Either everyone is hiding in basements, or there is no longer any Ukrainian army on the outskirts of the city. One of the industrial areas is also located on the outskirts of Vovchansk, but no one was found there either. Footage of a Russian drone operator searching for the enemy was recorded like this. The Russian FPV drone landed on the Ukrainian robotic platform, but the drone hesitated about whether to explode or not. It thought for a while, then it realized what it had to do and self-destructed. At the foot of Krasny Liman, Russian special forces destroyed the enemy's self-propelled gun. The enemy held Western-made artillery units in the direction of Kramatorsk. Under cover of fog, the soldiers then brought out a self-propelled gun called Crab for camouflage purposes. However, this did not work. Reconnaissance units from the southern group of forces managed to pinpoint the firing position. The artillery piece was captured as it was being withdrawn to a trench. The 1st Reconnaissance and Assault Brigade of the Volunteer Corps effectively deployed the Molnia II systems. A Russian drone operator spotted a Ukrainian camp in the Kupiansk direction. He then destroyed a camouflaged enemy M113 armored personnel carrier. Kupiansk direction. Ukrainian forces decided to hide their armored vehicles, but nothing stays hidden from Russian drone operators. They detected and destroyed the armored vehicles one by one. The Russian military announced that on the morning of December 5th, it repelled an enemy attack attempt using drones and unmanned boats, UB, targeting locations on the Crimean Peninsula. According to information from the Rubicon Special Purpose Center, a Ukrainian Navy UAV equipped with AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles was detected by the Zala reconnaissance complex. The target coordinates were immediately relayed to Lancet operators. Equipped with new communication channels and a new smart guidance system, the Zala patrol munition destroyed the highly maneuverable enemy UBG located 104 kilometers from the Lancet launch site. An excessive number of drones belonging to Ukrainian forces were detected on a building. These drones are being held here for ambushes. They will immediately activate their propellers at any sign of movement. They are waiting on top of buildings because they are not visible to soldiers, and even if they are spotted, they are difficult to destroy. That is why they are not waiting in ambush on the road. However, a Russian reconnaissance drone operator detected the enemy drones, and drones carrying ammunition arrived and destroyed all the enemy drones. A Russian-made drone destroyed a Ukrainian Darts UAV with a ram attack without sustaining any damage.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
In another incident, a Russian FPV drone destroyed another Ukrainian ATV vehicle. Ukrainian soldiers escaped at the last second. Russian drone operators captured Ukrainian infantrymen in close proximity to each other on the same day. The footage shows fiber optic drones striking soldiers at close range. Some tried to hide under logs, others in shelters. But in any case, Russian drone operators found them, and the inevitable happened. Kharkiv Oblast destroyed 2 Ukrainian armed forces tanks near Kolodiazne with KVN attacks. Judging by the footage, one was a T-72 and the other a T-72B tank. As a result of several FPV drone attacks, both tanks were wiped off the map. This operation appears to have been quite easy for Russian drone operators. Russian drones destroyed Ukrainian armed forces units advancing along the Dnieper River near Kherson. A munitions-carrying drone destroyed a Ukrainian boat with a massive explosion. Russian drone operators are monitoring resupply routes. In modern warfare, there is a simple rule. Just because the road is open doesn't mean it will stay that way. When planning routes, both sides actively use FPV drone ambushes, so additional checks on logistics routes are always conducted. During one such check, operators from the Russian battalion simultaneously detected and neutralized 3 enemy FPV drones. A Russian operator discovered a Ukrainian 120mm mortar position during an aerial reconnaissance mission. 2 FPV drones then reached the position and destroyed the mortar. The enemy decided to establish protective corridors for its equipment, but the 70th Division of the 18th Combined Arms Army still has areas where Phobos can operate. The fiber-optic drone did not attempt to penetrate the networks, but reacted quickly to the opening gap and collided with a Ukrainian armed forces armored vehicle. The rotation of the Ukrainian armed forces in the Sumy region was disrupted when the Sever group skillfully fired a Lancet-type mortar at a pickup truck. Footage of Ukrainian forces completely destroying a BK depot in a section of the Sumy front. An aircraft-type UAV destroyed the depot. An enemy PVD in the Krasnoarmeysk direction was destroyed by a precision strike with a Russian Kh-38 missile. According to objective surveillance, they intended to use this building as a temporary first aid center. The building sustained heavy damage after the attack. A Russian FPV drone encountered 3 Ukrainian soldiers during reconnaissance. The soldiers fired at the drone but failed to shoot it down. Bridges in the Ambarn and Udi settlements in the Kharkiv region were destroyed by drone strikes. Calculations were made by the 83rd Motorized Infantry Regiment of the Sever Group and the Russian FSB Border Guard Service. Previously, the Ukrainian armed forces had laid mines on the bridges in case of a retreat, and the drones detonated these mines. North of Chasiv Yar, the reconnaissance unit of the North V Brigade detected an enemy ground UAV, a kamikaze car, approaching Russian positions. Brigade operators immediately launched an attack UAV, which successfully struck the target. Russian operators destroyed an armored vehicle with a trailer, carrying construction materials belonging to a Ukrainian armed forces brigade near Konstantinovka. Subsequently, another American M113 armored personnel carrier traveling in the same direction was also destroyed. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported that soldiers belonging to the Vostok military group destroyed a fortified area belonging to the Ukrainian armed forces in the Zaporizhzhia region and a D-30 artillery unit in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Russian assault troops threw TM-62 anti-tank grenades into basements and shelters in Dzerzhinsk. This was actually a very risky operation. Heavy explosives thrown at close range could also harm the soldier throwing them. Furthermore, an enemy soldier could emerge from the spot where the explosive was thrown and shoot the soldier. The images show 169th Brigade operators destroying enemy equipment. Ukrainian forces lost another pickup truck. Soldiers are forced to walk or wait to be evacuated. FPV UAV operators from the Sparta Battalion of the 51st Guards Combined Arms Army struck 2 enemy UAV control points in the Balaklia region. The targets were destroyed along with their equipment. The destruction footage was objectively verified. FPV UAV operators from the Sparta Battalion of the 51st Guards Combined Arms Army destroyed the Ukrainian Armed Forces UAV Control Center in the Belitsky region, along with its personnel and a Baba Yaga attack UAV.
Don't forget to leave your opinion about the video in the comments, subscribe, and like.
The Terek UAV operator continues to methodically and calmly destroy enemy drones on rooftops. These drones, which had not yet taken off, were destroyed before they could do any damage. In the Donetsk direction, an FPV drone attack destroyed a temporary staging point for the Ukrainians. Inside, there was nothing but supplies and ammunition.